because of that evolution of the association, they realized that, hey, maybe we definitely want to serve female coaches and coaches of female sports, but we don't know what they need. We don't know what their needs are, so maybe we need to find somebody to tell us, and somebody who can come in and guide us into what that looks like.
If you ask her, she will be the first person to downplay her importance. But coaches all across Texas and, in fact, the country will agree that she has played a major role in some of the most important changes in high school sports. I will introduce you to Libby Pacheco right after this.
Hi, listeners. This is Glenn West, the Assistant Executive Director of Texas High School Coaches Association. It's time to register for coaching school. This year's coaching school will be held in San Antonio, July 21st through the 23rd. And in addition to the 250 lecture hours that we offer, we'll be adding a second turf field that will allow soccer, baseball, and softball demos. Tennis, aquatic, and golf will be off-site for one day of exhibits as well. Basketball court will be moved from a half court to a full court. You're all not going to want to miss this. You can find information of coaching school and hotels and membership renewal on our website at THSCEF.com.
Did you know that you can use podcasting to not only share the great news about your athletes and your programs, but as a fundraiser for your booster club? Yes, Lone Star Gridiron produced the 5th podcast in history and has been doing it nearly 20 years. We are expanding now to do shows outside of football. So whatever your sport, reach out to us at 713-269-4620, and we'll discuss how you can use this amazing tool to supercharge your program. And the best part, we do all the heavy lifting. Text your name and school to 713-269-4620. All right, everybody join me in welcoming the one, the only, Libby Pacheco to the show. Libby, how are you today?
Doing good. Thanks for having me on. It's always good to talk to you.
Always. I appreciate it. And I want to talk about, I think my theme today is going to be evolution. So not the evolution you're thinking of, though. So, but let's start with your evolution, because you have morphed and changed into a completely different person from your early days. If you could tell us a little bit of that story.
Well, I'm not a completely different person. I've just gone through so many different things that I've been able to kind of turn into my current role, and so I've just been appreciative of that. Man, you know, I graduated from Alamo Catholic High School in Amarillo, small private Catholic school girl my entire life, had some really great opportunities and great coaches and teachers, made the decision to be a coach when I was a junior in high school, much, I think, to the sadness of my parents. I think they thought I was going to be a lawyer or some type of profession that way, but I just felt the calling pretty early on that I wanted to stay involved in athletics, and I had such great people who impacted me as a young kid, and I wanted to do the same. That's where I kind of got. I knew, like I said, I was lucky to know pretty early on. So my decisions for college just put me in a position to be able to get going with that. I played basketball, actually, at St. Edward's University. For my first year in college, I had an amazing basketball coach in high school, Coach Paul Camp, who just recently passed away. And because of the development I had with him, I had the opportunity to go play at the college level. But honestly, volleyball was always kind of my love, even in high school, even as a elementary kid. I was really passionate about volleyball, and I was just happened to be a better basketball player. So I had that opportunity to play college basketball. Once I decided that, hey, I spend a lot of time playing this game of basketball, and I think I want to focus a little bit more on just preparing for the next step of my life. And so I chose to move to stop playing basketball, and came down the road from St. Edwards to Southwest Texas State. It was known as a teacher college. I knew that they had the reputation for preparing teachers and coaches, and that's what I wanted to do. So I just went on down the road and graduated from Southwest Texas State. I graduated from SWT, not Texas State. But, and then I started my career as a coach, and that's really kind of where I started and how I got into the profession to begin with.
Nice. And Texas State or Southwest Texas has always had some pretty good women's sports programs. I assume that you took advantage of that as at least a spectator while you were there, right?
Oh, 100%. And, I was in the kinesiology department, and so we, back then, we went through all kinds of different sports, and many of the coaches that were at Texas State were actually the professors for those individual sports.
Oh, nice.
So we were able to really connect with the basketball coaches, the volleyball coaches, and so just through the department, we were able to make those connections and have those great conversations, and that I was really grateful for, because all it did is just reaffirm what I already knew, that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah, definitely. So I assume you got to spend some time with Coach Chisholm.
I did. She, again, we were at, I took her volleyball class for one thing, and then just, again, watching all of those great teams, all those great volleyball teams, and even after I graduated from Texas State, we were able to stay connected and see her at clinics and see her do her thing. So, yes.
And I have to tell you that you had mentioned, much to the dismay of your parents, you decided to go into coaching. I have to say that there's a whole lot of people in Texas and beyond who are grateful that you made that decision to get involved in coaching, because your evolution has impacted a lot of people there.
Well, I think, I think parents just always want what's best for their kids, and not knowing exactly what education the education profession was going to do for me. Now, obviously, they're 100%, and they're so grateful that this profession has given me the ability to impact others. And again, just that servant heart that they poured into me, that I grew up with watching them serve other people. Now I'm able to do the same for others.
I love that. And keeping with my evolution theme, the Texas High School Coaches Association has done a lot of evolving as well, and talk about how your involvement with the Coaches Association is an example of that evolution.
Well, I'm so glad you used this word evolution, and we didn't even talk about this ahead of time, because it was the exact message that I had at our leaders to kick off our leadership summit a couple of weeks ago. I specifically talked about using the word evolution instead of using the word changing. I think sometimes the word change makes you think that something was bad, like something was not right in the past. So therefore you had to change it in order to make it better. Evolution just makes you think that things quote unquote change because circumstances change. And I think that's exactly what's happened with THSCA. There wasn't really necessarily anything bad with THSCA. In fact, it was so good that all coaches all over the state asked and pleaded Joe and Glenn, hey, can you find ways to include us? Can we have a piece in the energy and what's going on with THSCA? And I'm so grateful that Joe and Glenn had that vision to make that happen, not just because it led to my position here, but because it's led to so much development for coaches, for female coaches, and coaches of female sports all across the state. Just the things that we're able to provide. And so because of that evolution of the association, they realized that, hey, maybe we definitely want to serve female coaches and coaches of female sports, but we don't know what they need. We don't know what their needs are. So maybe we need to find somebody to tell us, and somebody who can come in and guide us into what that looks like. And that's when they called on me, and that's why I'm here. And what a great job. I asked them from the very beginning, I'm like, what is my job description? What do I do? And they literally said, your entire job description is to figure out what coaches need and how do we help them. And then and then go do it. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's awesome. That's great. Sign me up. So yes, that's what evolution has done for me, and how I was able to get on with the THSCA.
Very cool. And I love the phrasing you use there, because I've had struggles finding the words when talking about the changes to the THSCA because of that very reason. I don't want it to seem like it was bad, but you're right. It wasn't, hey, you've got to fix this. It's such a great organization. We want to be involved too.
Everybody wants to be part of the winning team, right?
Right on.
And when you look down the road and you're like, wow, I wish I could be part of that. And I think that's exactly what was going on. I think coaches were looking at the football coaches on their staff, on their campuses, and seeing how much THSCA was pouring into them and all of the benefits that their football coaches were getting, and like, hey, we'd like a piece of that too. So, again, I think that's led to a lot of evolution in the association.
I love it. And talk about that, your position. You said, it was to go figure out what they need and make it happen. But what does the day-to-day look like for you?
Oh, gosh. It's much like our coaches. The day-to-day kind of is seasonal. It changes a little bit depending on the time of the year. So I am actually the Chief Operating Officer of our Education Foundation. So not many people realize that the THSCA actually comprises of two separate organizations. THSCA is the big umbrella, and anybody in education understands education foundations, because almost every single district has an education foundation. So THSCA has an education foundation that I get to manage and oversee. And within that association, we do, the Education Foundation, we get to do everything educational type driven initiatives. So it can be everything from health and safety, a lot of the coaching school pieces, anything that enhances the professional development of our coaches. So it changes. I know that's a long-winded answer to answer your question of what my day-to-day looks like, but it truly is just so different every day. You know, the last couple of days we've just got done with board meetings, and so we spent a lot of time with our board of directors. Tomorrow, and for the next few weeks, we're going to be traveling to El Paso and Laredo and meeting with coaches and trying to figure out, hey, coaches and athletic directors, tell us what we need to be doing, helping spread our message. And then when I'm actually here in the office, it's preparing for coaching school. It's communicating to coaches and finding out what they need. Lots and lots of communication, lots of emails, and lots of things that are just the management of our day-to-day.
Got it. And when you say you ask them, tell us what we need to be doing, are there some things that come up that are like, wow, we hadn't even thought of that? Or is most of it just, we knew, NIL, we knew transfers, we knew all those things were going to be an issue? Or have they surprised you recently with some needs?
All of the evolution that happened, even before I came onto the association, happened because of those conversations. Things like all of our awards, our entire award pillar happened specifically because coaches and athletic directors said, hey, Joe, Glenn, we'd love to be able to send our coaches to you, but we really see value in being able to recognize the work that our coaches and our athletes do. And THSCEF at that time hadn't done that. So had really probably never even thought about it other than the long past all-star games that they used to have. And so that whole, that shifted a huge thinking in our office. So that came out of it. But now the things that our ADs are dealing with, and we're finding out about all of their needs and how different they are throughout the state. It's a lot to do with budgets right now, and how what our kids are doing when it comes to moving from district to district. So all of those things, every once in a while we hear a lot of the same things, there's still some things that we hear that kind of surprise us. And we always come back and think okay, that's a problem. What can we do in our roles to help curb those issues or to help solve some of those problems?
Yeah, definitely. And do you still get the opportunity to attend some sporting events? Or is it just state championships is about the only time you have? Whenever we go out to when we go visit people, we try to make it out to a coaching of some kind of sporting event, whether it's a track meet or a volleyball game or a soccer game or a basketball game. It doesn't happen as much as we want to, and I feel like maybe that's the one area we get to see the best of the best through at the state championships. But because we're on the road so much, it sometimes keeps us, but we're still sports fans, and we love to interact with coaches during the day and then see them really do what they love and their passion in the evening whenever when they're competing. Definitely. So how many coaches would you say in the state have your personal phone number?
Oh, gosh. I can tell you this, not enough have my personal number, because it is, it's the one thing. When I was an assistant athletic director in the DFW area, that was the one thing I loved doing. And I think most athletic directors, most administrators would say that the whole reason they're doing what they're doing is the interaction with coaches. And so if a phone call from a coach can get me away from answering emails, I will do it.
Nice.
I would much rather spend my time on a phone getting to know and listen to coaches than anything else.
Nice. And being that you're in charge of the Education Foundation, what is something the Education Foundation does that maybe is not known or underappreciated?
I would say probably one of the best things that comes from the Education Foundation is our benevolence fund. Our benevolence fund and all the programs that fall under that category is designed to help coaches and athletes who are struggling financially in like a time of need. And this entire fund is our coaches and parents just raise the money for that for everything that goes back out to coaches. So it is the one thing whenever our coaches donate to our benevolence fund, whenever they raise money for our benevolence fund, they know that 100% of that money is going back directly to a coach or to an athlete, to a family within a community that is really hurting. It could be from a house that's burned down to an unexpected injury, to an accident. And those are it's a powerful message of support whenever we can help a family financially. And I think that I don't think it's not everybody knows that it's accessible to any coach, any THSCA coach or athlete in the state. You know, as long as there's a financial need and as long as it falls under some criteria, then anybody's eligible for that. And it's just a great program. It's the ultimate way that we can support our coaches and our athletes.
I love that. Now, most of the audience here is most likely coaches, athletic directors, but we do have just some citizens who love what Texas high school coaching means to our state. So for those people, how would they participate? How can they help with that benevolence fund?
They can encourage their school teams to host what we call an Our Day to Shine scrimmage. Yeah. Our scrimmages, we ask our coaches whenever they are hosting a scrimmage, and all of our team sports will have scrimmages. And those scrimmages, they don't typically charge admission. They don't charge community to come watch those scrimmages. So instead of charging, we ask that they just open up a bucket. We have a Venmo account where any attendees can donate to that fund. So that's one way. And then they can also just go onto our website, and we have a Venmo account where they're able to donate directly if they choose to do so.
I love that. And staying on the evolution theme, this podcast has been evolving, and from what I understand, we're going to evolve it more in the next season. Can we tease any of that with anybody? So one of our biggest complaints that we have about coaching school, and now I tell you, it's kind of this backhanded complaint. So one of the things we hear over and over about coaching school is that we have too much content. So a coach who is a sport coach, let's just take, for example, a basketball coach who's attending THSCA coaching school for one of the first times ever. They have, on any single hour, they have probably about 7 to 10 different options that are relevant to them. Yep. It could be strength and conditioning. It could be a basketball demo, a basketball lecture, a professional development series. They have so many different options, and they can't go everywhere. They can't see everything. So in just trying to think about how can we still offer some of that content, which we think is relevant, and just make it
available kind of on a broader scale. Which naturally led us to think about using our podcast to be able to do that. Yeah. So instead of exclusively highlighting coaches or exclusively highlighting people who make an impact on THSCA, we want to start using the podcast to be more informational, professional development type stuff, things like health and safety concern, mental health, recruiting, and what that looks like. So all of those, anything and everything that a coach might be dealing with on a daily basis is up in the air. As soon as we told people we're going to be doing that, we've already gotten all kinds of some feedback and some topics that we can attack. And we're excited to see how that part evolves in the next season.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm excited too. I think that's going to be, they say to have a successful podcast, you need to educate or entertain, and I think that will do both. It'll take care of both in the same exact show, which is going to be great. Yeah, no,
I now the hard part is going to be narrowing down that content even, because I think when you look at the needs of coaches, it could be a long list, but we're ready to attack them all. So.
Right on. So talk to me about what is the lead up to coaching school, because it's coming super fast right now, and I know that this time of year y'all are crazy busy. What are y'all busy doing right now?
So leading up to coaching school right now, we have finalized most of our fall sport speakers. So we will continue to have conversations with our football and our volleyball coaches and our cross country and those speakers and what that looks like. And then we will have over 250 hours of lectures at coaching school. We make phone calls to almost every single one of those presenters. And so those are a lot of phone calls. But, again, they're good phone calls to have, because oftentimes when we call a coach and ask them to present at THSCA coaching school, they're honored. They are looking for a way to get back. So those become really, really good conversations too. But that's what we're doing over the next couple of months. We're just contacting basketball coaches, soccer coaches, softball, baseball. We're finalizing sponsors and booths. We're adding things like babysitting to coaching school this next year. So putting that plan together. What does babysitting at coaching school look like? It's a bunch of logistical pieces, and we have an amazing staff. So they are 100% the best at what they do. Everything from managing our hotels to managing the technology that happens at the convention center, all of our membership and our registration. So all of those things, while it kind of starts snowballing, you can start feeling the energy from coaching school starting to amp up around here. And that's really what it looks like. And it's just I want to say slow build, but it's at this point of the year, we're running to that finish line. And really our big focus is coaching school right now.
Yeah, I was going to say that ball is rolling pretty fast already. And I know I can't wait for it, because it's one of my favorite events of the summer and has been for the last 20 years. I'm so going to enjoy the heck out of it.
Chris, I will, the more and more exhibitors for sure that we talk to, and then partners that we make on a national scale, the more and more we're realizing that our coaching school is the largest of its kind for sure in the nation. Yep. We are looking into it, but from what we believe, we also believe it's also the largest of its kind globally, like in the world. We think there's like a soccer association out there, like in Europe, that does something a little bit bigger than what we do. But in most of our conversations, we're starting to learn that. We're like, okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's what I've been telling people, because I did some research too back when I first got involved, and the more I see, you're right, there is a big soccer one, but I think that's not at the high school level, so not exclusively. So I think when you talk high school, nobody comes close.
Well, for sure, when you talk high school, for sure no one comes close. But we also think when you start looking even at professional and collegiate associations,
right.
I know some of those associations that we work closely with, our attendance is bigger than theirs. So yeah, no, we're really, we've got a great staff that puts that together, and our coaches benefit from that.
Excellent. If you want to, before we get off here, is anybody you want to give a shout out to that helps make this all possible?
Oh gosh. I mean, I would definitely, I think for most coaches, the big shout outs that allow them to do what they do every day should go out to their families. So I've got a great supportive husband who allows me to go traipse around Texas and talk to coaches while he helps support things at the house and takes care of the dog and and is just supportive of the work I do. And I talk to coaches every day that if there's one person or one group of people that they give the most credit to, it's their family. And when you're in a profession like coaching, when it's a calling, it's a ministry, you've got to have their support to be successful. So yeah, absolutely. My husband Eric is pretty special.
I love it. Well, cool. Libby Pacheco, gosh, I want to thank you so much. Time just flies when I'm talking with you, and that's a good thing.
Well, Chris, it's been so good, and I thank you so much for the stories that you've been able to tell of our coaches and the people that have made an impact on THSCA, and I'm looking forward to continue this relationship. It's great for our coaches, and anything that's good for our coaches, we're all about.
The interviews in this show are brought to you by the Texas High School Coaches Association. THSCA provides to its more than 26,000 members access to the people, events, tools, and resources to help them thrive in the profession, become trusted leaders in their communities, and live balanced and successful lives. The work and sacrifice coaches do every day is vital to the development and success of student athletes. The THSCA supports these efforts. We fight for every coach, provide them with the connections and resources to improve their lives, and help all student athletes throughout the state enjoy lasting success. The mission statement is simply this: to help and serve Texas high school coaches as they work to help and serve student athletes. Helping coaches help kids. For more information on the THSCA, visit www.thsca.com. Hey, of course, I want to thank our guest, but I also want to thank you. I want to thank you for giving me what I consider the most valuable thing you can give, your time and your attention. And I know you don't do it to hear me. You hear it for the great messages provided by the THSCA. And hey, if you'd like to associate your company with the THSCA and the Coach's Call podcast, limited sponsorship opportunities are available. You can reach out to me, Chris Daly, 713-269-4620, or head over to my website, freshmediaworks.com. Once again, thank you so much for supporting Texas high school coaches. Please share this show out to everybody you can so that we can help share these important messages. Thanks again, and we'll catch you next time on The Coach's Call.